welcome back to the workshop. Now we're going to continue on with the hand tool cabinet build. We need to add some doors to the outer part of these main doors. So if you guys have been following along with this build, you will know that our hand tool cabinet has doors that open up that will contain tools both in the front and in the back. So we want to add a second set of doors now that will just open up and allow us access to these tools. Now, I've kind of agonized over this, what to do, how to make them. I had intended making these from hardwood and doing some nice fancy work, but I've been having some real moisture issues in my workshop lately. Like I say, I had planned on doing a frame and panel door, something like this with haunch tenons and everything in it. But like I say, with all the moisture issues I've had this year, I'm going to stick to the plywood because it's very, very stable, and this is shop furniture. My workshop is not ideal for woodworking. It's a steel shade. It's not very well insulated, so I have to think about how the wood will expand and contract throughout the year. And I've even had some problems with some of the plywood in the shop picking up dampness. That's how bad this year was. So that being said, I think the best option we can do is continue with the birch ply and make some nice basic shaker style doors to go on the front. We'll keep it lightweight because these doors are getting quite heavy, and once I put more tools in them, they'll be heavier again, and it is only shop furniture at the end of the day. So shaker style doors to go on this, the very, very basic style, nice and easy. This will be a pretty quick build, so let's get on and do it. Okay, so to the timber storage rack, I have a piece of 1/2 inch birch ply here. We just need to get this out and up onto the MFT table, and we'll make our entire door completely from this sheet. Try not to wreck the whole place. There we go. Okay, our first place to start, like always, is to put a truing cut into our piece of plywood. Again, looking at this thing against the straight edge, it's in and out like a fiddler's elbow yet again, so always good to start with a truing cut on your piece of plywood just because they don't come straight cut. So I'll run this on, now we can cut out our two doors. Let's do it. Okay, so our next task then is just to rip the doors out of this sheet, and I'm going to go the length of the board. The doors are 620 millimeters wide. I could get them widthwise, but I want the grain running up and down our door. So birch ply has a really good face on it, and how they make plywood, I think I've explained this before, is it's essentially like unrolling the tree. Like you would unroll a piece of paper. So they have a nice big blade, and it just peels the tree, and the tree unrolls, and that's how they get this grain pattern on the front. So we're going to keep that, and we're going to have it running up and down the doors. So that's why we're going to cut it out at the length, and like I said, it's 620 millimeters wide. Now, another little question one of you guys had for me about the MFT table was why the sacrificial strip. So I gave a couple of reasons, but now you can see another reason for why it's a good idea to have a sacrificial strip in your table. You can't always use a dog system when you're breaking down full sheets, and it's nice just to have a strip that you can run right through and not have to worry about it. So that's another reason for it. So I'll get on and rip this now. Okay, so now that we have two perfectly parallel edges, we know that's good, we have the correct width. Now I can use my dog system and my flex tool track, and I can square up this end, and then we can measure off this end the length of our doors. So I'm going to do that, but first I'm going to add a bit of duct tape to the side of this Bosch saw. One of you guys actually gave me this tip. You said try this out, it will improve the dust collection. So there's a kind of a hole in the side of the Bosch for getting access to the arbor for the blade replacement. And if you put a bit of duct tape over it just like that, apparently it helps with the dust extraction. So let's get on and do this. Yeah, almost no sawdust out of that. So there's a good tip. Whoever in the comments suggested that to me, thanks very much. Okay, so the total length of our door is 1036 mil, and I'm going to keep it a couple of mil off my rail just to allow for the curve of the blade so we don't lose. The blade is about 2.5 to 3 mil, so we just don't want to lose that. So let's get on and cut this. On to the next one. You can see the beauty of the MFT table now, just how easy it is to get square cuts and set up for your next cuts. It's super fast, and it is quickly becoming one of my most used tools in the shop. Okay guys, so there's our nice simple door. It'll be nice and light, good and stable, and the grain pattern is running in the right direction. So that's going to be our door there. Now we have to put on the stiles and the rails. The rails are the horizontal and the stiles are the vertical, and we have to decide how thick to make these now so that it looks aesthetically pleasing. Now, I have heard it said that you should never make the rails or the stiles for shaker doors any more than 2.5 inches, but these are kind of extremely big shaker doors. So I have two pieces here. That's 100 mil or 4 inches. I think that's way too much. I think that'll be too heavy looking. So this is about 70 mil or about 3 inches. So I think we're going to break the rule on shaker doors and make our stiles and rails a little bit wider. So between 75, I think, to 80 mil should be good, just because they're so big, and we don't want little narrow bands around the side of our doors. Let's get on and cut them. Okay, so I've decided on a width of about 80 millimeters. That's about 3.25 inches roughly in imperial. And sometimes you just have to kind of go with your gut, just eyeball it and kind of go with what you think will look good. So I have 2 strips of this to cut out, and that will give us all our rails and stiles. So I'll get on and do that now. And then when I have them all cut to length, we'll jump back in, because it's just more of me using my MFT table, and you've seen me do that already in this video. So like I say, I'll crack on, get them all cut out, and then we'll jump back in. Okay guys, there we go, our stiles and our rails are cut. Now hopefully you can see this, because the sun is playing absolute havoc with me today making this video, and trying to film kind of white birch ply in the sunlight is not too easy. But our rails and stiles are cut, like I said. So our stiles are our vertical pieces and our rails are horizontal top and bottom, so you can always think about a handrail being horizontal. That's why these are rails as well, they run horizontally. Now this is the most basic way to make a shaker door. It's nice and simple, easy. You can do this with MDF, you can do it with plywood, like I say. It's just a case of glue this down now and staple it, and then you can paint this, and turns out absolutely lovely. You can do this for kitchen doors, you can do this for workshop furniture. Like I said, it's quick and easy and basic. There's loads of different ways to do shaker doors or raising panel doors. You can do dados, you can do floating tenons. There's loads of different ways. I've done them all, but for shop furniture, shop cabinets, this is one of the best ways to do it, and it's nice and easy and nice and basic, and it looks quite good when it's finished as well. So I get on now and sand this, and then I'm just going to glue these down, a couple of brad nails to hold them in place. While the glue is setting up, we're going to route a cove on the inside. Now when we're doing the cove, I'll explain this when we're doing it, but we're going to stop short of our corners. Unless we miter these, we cannot run around the whole way with our router, because it won't look right in the corners. So we will stop our cove an inch back from each corner, and just put a little detail in it that way, but that'll all be explained when we do it. So I get on and sand this, so you guys don't have to watch me do that, and we glue, staple these together, and then we put our cove in. Okay guys, we are all sanded up, so I'm just quickly assembling them. I have one of them just put together here already, so nice and easy, not much to this. It's just a case of glue and a few brad nails. I'm just brad nailing from underneath, so I don't see the brad nails in the front, because I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of Danish oil. I'm not going to paint it, fill it, or I'd sand it or anything like that. It's just going to be nice, quick and easy. So brad nails from underneath, so we won't have to cover them in the front. So this is very straightforward. Just get some glue on. Again, these are only decorative, they're not structural or anything like that, so we don't have to do too much to them. All the long strips and these strips, if we do glue them down and get some nails into them, they will add to the rigidity of the door. I can't even say the word. Right, where's my glasses? Here we go. Obviously, you just want to be careful that the brad nails aren't too long and you're not shooting anything through your fingers when you're shooting from underneath like that. So I get on and do the rest of them exactly like that, and when they're both done, we can route the cove into this. Okay, here we're all glued down, fixed in place. I want to put my coving edge in. So I'm going to come back 30 millimeters from the corner on all four sides, just like that. 30 mil in, so 30 mil is about 1.25 inches. 25 mil is more or less an inch. So about 1.25 inches back, and that's where we're going to stop our cove. Now, we have to do that because we can't run around our corners with the cove bit. It won't look right unless we miter the corners beforehand, and I'm not doing that. We're going to keep this one as simple as possible. So this is just a little decorative detail. I've seen multiple guys do this. They just keep the cove, stop the cove short of the corners either side, and it's a nice little detail. Now, how it will look on the plywood is anybody's guess, but when you do this in solid wood or in MDF and you're painting it, it actually looks quite nice. But I'm going to put oil on this, so we'll see. Everything's a bit of an experiment anyway. Okay guys, so there you can see just a little decorative detail around. Now it's not as nice in the plywood as it is like when you do it in MDF or in a hardwood, but it's a nice little idea just to stop your cove piece short of the corner. I've seen a few guys do this like Rob Cosman and stuff, but obviously he's using hardwood and it looks quite effective. Again, you don't have to use special bits to make sure that this joint goes together and that your cove matches. You're not mitering edges. It's just nice, quick and easy, and it's a nice little detail you can add to it. So now, let's get a coat of Danish oil on this and get these hung up. Okay guys, there we go. We have a coated Danish oil on them and they're looking quite nice now, and the Danish oil brought out the cove detail, it darkened it up so you can see it a little better. Now, in hindsight, if I was to do it again, I would put the cove on before I fit the rails and stiles, just so I could put a deeper cove into it, get through some of the layers of the plywood, just to make the details stand out a little bit more. Not too much more, just a little bit more, but the router bit was bottoming out on the door. So like I said, in hindsight, probably put the cove in before I put the rails and stiles on. Might have been a better idea, but I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. And it's a piece of shop furniture after all. So let's get these hung up now and we're almost there. Okay guys, the first door is in place and it's looking quite nice. I'm quite happy with that. It has yellowed up nicely, so it's a nice golden colour now. It's probably not coming out on camera. Simple black butt hinges on the surface to the outside is what I've done, because all the other hinges are surface mounted just to keep it the theme. Now I wanted something a little bit more decorative, but there was absolutely nothing available around me at the minute. COVID is really playing havoc with what stock you can get, and everybody seems to be out of stock of everything. So basic black hinges, I can always replace them down the road if I feel I need to, but that's working nicely there now. So we need to get the second door up. So I've just built up a little platform, made some shims with some washers just to shim the door up. Now this is sitting perfectly against this edge. It's a nice clean line, but I have a slight overhang on the top, so something's not quite square. So I'm going to have to plane this door back just a touch, just to get it to sit right on the cabinet. So let's do that now. So if we get it in place. See, we have a real nice fit there, which is what we want. That is fitting perfectly. So I have a slight little overhang on this side of the cabinet, which I don't want. So I'm just going to mark that with a pencil now. and we can work back to that line with the plane. There we go. We'll plane that back square, and we should be good to put our hinges on this side. Okay, so we just have to work back down a couple of mil here at an angle. Something's just slightly out of square, but we can square this up with the plane. It's probably the cabinet has shifted a small bit maybe, but we can match our doors to fit, so it's nice and easy. We'll just make sure we keep this nice and square as we go down. Perfect. Okay guys, hopefully you can see there. It's kind of hard to get this in shot with the camera, but I'm going to be using these brass plated steel screws again. So they're inch by 10s, so they're nice thick screws. And again, it's just basic black butt hinges to go with the black hardware that we already have on the door. I wanted, like I said, the decorative ones, but I can't get them. The leaf pattern hinges would be nice as a little touch, but for now these will do. So let's get them up. Okay guys, the two hinges are in place and the door is swinging nicely. So I'm happy with that. A couple of little fittings and fixtures and fittings now to fit to the inside of the door. We'll do that now, and yeah, it's getting very hot in here. So we've gone from freezing cold to roasting hot in the space of about a week. That's Ireland for you, but there we go. So doors are up. Okay guys, there we go. Both doors are now on. I've just added two little sapele blocks, literally two little offcuts I had in my timber storage rack, and just put a little rounded edge into both sides on the spindle sander. So nice and easy, very, very quick and simple to make. Literally just two blocks with two little round edges into them. And we have two little magnets then on the inside of our cabinet just to keep the doors closed. So just like that, those doors will open. We have our tools in there so we can access those tools if we need to. Again, the less commonly used tools will probably go here because the cabinet is open more often than not. But again, it's just a storage option and a way to keep the tools safe and hopefully rust free. That's the plan. So we want to open up the cabinet, just pull the bolt and just open it like that. And the same way as before, we can just put it back to the wall and hook it in place. So there we go guys, that is the tool storage cabinet, hand tool cabinet, now complete. Okay guys, so there we go. So concludes the hand tool cabinet build series, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've got something out of it, and hopefully the build inspires you to get making your own hand tool cabinet. Now I know it's not your orthodox hand tool cabinet. It's not made from handwood or hardwood, and I didn't build it all with hand tools. It's more utilitarian than it is, I suppose, a beautiful piece of furniture. But like I explained at the start of the video, my workshop is uninsulated. It's a steel shed. Moisture is a real problem in here, so this is the most practical solution for me. And at the end of the day, it is a workshop cabinet. So we have some hardwood accents. We put in some hand tool drawers. We did a plain till and a few other bits and pieces with hand tools. It was quite an enjoyable build, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And plywood or birch ply is a great option for your workshop, especially if you're worried about different moisture levels depending on what climate you live in. And the shaker doors, it is the easiest possible way to make a shaker door, and they look quite effective. It's ideal option for your workshop, for making workshop furniture. Again, workshop furniture doesn't have to have all the tenons in it or all the dados, the rebates, that kind of thing. It's literally just stick on the stiles and the rails, and away you go. You have yourself a nice and easy shaker door. So that's it guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. As always, if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, think about subscribing. Any comments, any questions, anything you think I should do or should add, be sure and get in the conversation and get in the comments below. I try to answer all the questions as best I can. And if you want to support what I do here, I have a Patreon link below, and if you ever just want to fancy buying me a cup of coffee or something like that, my PayPal is linked below as well, so you can support what I do here that way guys. So again, hopefully you've enjoyed the build. I'm going to get out of here now. It's quite warm. I need a beer. It's time for a beer. I'll see you later.